Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to discuss the next answer copy of our Aim for Agriculture series. So as you all know that we are having Aim for Agriculture series, Aim for Agriculture series in which we are having daily answer writing practice and weekly full tests. So today we are going to discuss the full test number 7 of this Aim for Agriculture series. So we will see what were the questions asked and how the student has approached the answer. And till now, till test 6 we have already discussed. Till test 6 we have already discussed, and in test 7 you will find that it is a complete full test. Till test 6 till test 6 it was sectional tests, and in test 7 it is now complete full test where student was given the option of 8 questions. That is, we all know that question number 1 and 5 are compulsory, and between other questions the student has to write 3 questions that lead at least and touching at least one questions from each section. The question paper is divided into section A and section B. So this is the common pattern which UPSC follows. So you all know it, you are all aware of it. So that is what we have followed. The student has written 5 questions out of the 8. So we will see which questions has the student written and how he has approached the answer, so that it could be helpful in our आंसर राइटिंग जर्नी ऑल्सो. जो आपकी खुद की आंसर राइटिंग जर्नी होगी उसमें ये काफी हेल्पफुल रहेगा. You will get to know how to structure the answer, how to use certain examples, how to write certain points, how to introduce, how to conclude. So all those things will be very helpful to you. So let's start. So the first question is, discuss the effects of environmental pollution on agriculture. So what is the effects of environmental pollution in agriculture? I will discuss briefly in the video, but if you want to read the answers in detail, if you want to read the answers line by line, you can simply pause the video and read it. But from my side, it will be just, I will be discussing the important points, important concepts, so that we can briefly cover the video, because if I will start discussing line by line, it will become very big video for you. So that is why I will discuss just a few important points, but if you want to read the answers in detail line by line, you can simply pause the video and read it. Okay. So let's see what are the effects of environmental pollution on agriculture. So student has first mentioned the negative effects, such as it could be soil contaminated by pollutants such as heavy metals, pesticides. It could be water pollution. It could be air pollution. Okay, you can simply pause and read the points. It could be climate change. But what impactful you will see in that answer, the student has also mentioned some of the positive points of climate change or other things or pollution on agriculture, because there is increased CO2 levels. Okay, we all know that high CO2 is being released by us, and due to those increased CO2 levels, the crop is getting more CO2, and there are little bit increment in crop yields. Okay, but you should also know that this increment will be a certain increase up in CO2 levels, but the CO2, when the CO2 level will increase beyond that limit, it will be again so deteriorating effects. Secondly, warmer temperature. So the plants grown in warmer periods can be now grown for more time. That is extended. They will get extended season. For example, mustard. Increased nitrogen. So these are the some of the very good points written. So I hope you liked the answer, and this was a very good answer, I think. So you can pause and read it. Now let's move to the next question. The next question was, describe in situ, that is on site. We all know what in situ is. And ex situ, that is off site. On-site and off-site management of paddy crop residue. So how can you manage the paddy crop residue on-site or other than the site, that is off-site? So in situ management, first of all, we can use happy seeder. Okay, we can do mulching of that residue. Why happy seeder? Because by the use of happy seeder, we will directly able to put the seed into the soil without the need for removing those residues, and those residues slowly will become organic matter and will release some amount of organic material into the soil. Mulching can be done. Those can be incorporated back into the soil. Okay, that is plugged back into the soil. Here the student has missed one point, and that is very important point which I have mentioned here. The farmers can use Pusa decomposer. Okay, this Pusa decomposer is developed by IARI. So this Pusa decomposer is a bacteria which can be helpful in decomposing these residues in the field itself in very less period. Generally, why the farmers, you will say that in NCR region, burn these residue? Why? Because they have very less time to shift to another crops, and during those times it is very difficult to manage this residue, so simply they burn it. But if through the use of this Pusa decomposer, this residue can be decomposed in very early, in less than 20 days, in 20-21 days. So they can use this Pusa decomposer without the effect of that much of time being taken by it by for decomposing the residues. So this can be done. X-C2 management. How can you manage X-C2? We can compress these fatty residues into briquettes, that is briquetting. We can use this fatty residue for bioenergy production. We can use this fatty residue for animal fodder. So these are the some of the points. You can pause the video at different times and you can read it. Now, next question is, what is soil structure? Why soil structure is considered an important soil property for crop production? So why it is considered? We will discuss the important points. First of all, it helps in water retention. It helps in aeration, and we all know how aeration is important for plant roots. It helps in root penetration, the kind of aggregate present in the soil or present in the structure of soil decides root penetration. If the aggregate is not up to the mark, there will be not enough root penetration, which can leads to bad development of plant. Stunted growth can be a problem. So good structure is needed for good root penetration. The soil facilitates the movement of nutrients. Soil erosion is also dependent on material. A kind of soil organisms are dependent on material. Compaction is another factor. But you can see what I have mentioned here, that the question was asking why soil structure is considered an important property for crop production. You can see the keyword here, crop production. So I don't think that soil erosion is a property of soil structure. So these points should be avoided. And you can see I have mentioned here also there could be improvement in points, because we have to generally discuss the core properties which can be helpful for plant. For example, the upper properties such as root penetration, aeration, these are good points, but the soil erosion point was a kind of vague one. So that is why I mentioned here. So these are some of the points. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, write the scope and needs for agroforestry in India. And you all know how much important topic agroforestry is for your UPSC agriculture optional paper. Every year, a one person generally comes from agroforestry. So you should try to prepare every aspect of agroforestry, because there could be a question on it. So we all know what agroforestry is. Agriculture forestry, when agriculture crops are grown together with forestries in the similar field, they are known as they are known as agroforestry. And I think you all know this definition. If you have seen my videos from the initial days, hundred of times I have defined agroforestry. I have discussed agroforestry, so that could be very helpful to you. Now, what are its scope? It helps in enhancing biodiversity. It helps in soil conservation. It helps in climate change. It improves livelihood by diversifying income, diversifying nutrition. It provides food security. What are its needs? Policy support is needed from government side to promote agroforestry. Research and development needs to be enhanced. Capacity building is needed. Financial resources are needed, because managing agroforestry in the similar field is not easy. So financial support could be helpful to farmers. Market access is needed. So these are some of the very good points. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, discuss the advantages and limitations of biological weed control. So we all know what biological weed control is. That is use of living organisms, biological organisms such as insect, pathogen, predators, other things for the control of weed. So what are its advantages? First of all, environmental safety. It will be environmentally safe as compared to chemical weeds. It will contribute to sustainable agriculture. It is cost effective. It will lead to biodiversity preservation. It will reduce the chances of herbicide resistance because no herbicide is only used here. There are certain limitations also, such as these biological practices could be time consuming. These are highly specific sometimes. For many times they just work for a particular weed species, and if there are combination of weed species grown in your field, it makes very difficult to control them with these biological practices. Then potential for targeting non-target species. Okay, it is sometimes lower. Variable success is seen sometimes. Initial investments and expertise is needed. So these are some of the points, well mentioned points. You can read by pausing the video. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, recently there were farmers protests regarding some government bills in our country. Discuss the advantages and limitations of those bills. So it is a kind of question linked with current affairs. So we all know recently three government bills were there, I think in 2020. Those bills were the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bills, Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act, the Essential Commodities Amendment Act. So these were the three bills, and it led to huge farmers' protest. If you were aware of news, these were in very much in news. Now the advantages and disadvantages of all the three bill has been mentioned. First of all, the Farmer Produce Trade and Commerce Bill. Its advantages are increased market access, reduction in middlemen, and this was a major advantage, reduction in middlemen. It could have led to enhanced competitiveness. Limitations were that it could have weakened the APMC system, market vulnerability was a problem, infrastructure challenges was a challenge. Now about second bill, that is the Farmers Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act. So its advantages were that it could provide price stability. There could be reduced risks. It could lead to access of technology. There were certain limitations also, such as potential exploitation could be done by of this bill. There could be contract disputes. That could lead to dependence on single buyer. So these were some of the limitations. Now third bill, that is Essential Commodities Act. Its advantages were it could encourage the private sector, or you can say encourage private investment in the agriculture infrastructure. It could have led to boost to agri business, reduction in food waste and price, and there could be greater price stability. Its limitations have been also mentioned, such as manipulation could be a problem. The agri businesses could have dominated. Okay, there could be limited consumer protection. So well written points and very well covered. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, what is herbicide selectivity? Discuss the factors affecting it. So what is herbicide selectivity? It refers to the ability of herbicide to target specific weeds while causing minimal or no harm to the desired crop. That is selecting weeds between all the plants in the field. Case study of atrazine has been also mentioned, which was seen in Karnataka and Maharashtra. You can read this. Now, what are the factors affecting herbicide selectivity? It could be biochemical differences. It could be application rate, because many times at less application it could be harmful for certain small weeds, but for bigger plants which could be the crop, there could be less harm. Physical and chemical properties also decide it. Crop and weed morphology can be another factor, such as suppose there could be different kind of structure, there could be different kind of morphological interpretation, morphological looks, that could be waxy, hairy, smooth. All these could be different kind of leaf surfaces. So it is a good example mentioned. Environmental conditions could be another factor. So very well written point. Metabolic resistance could be another factor. Herbicidal mode of action could be another factor. You can pause and read the points in detail because good examples have been mentioned. Those examples can be very helpful in your answer writing also. Soil characteristics could be another point. Genetic engineering could be another point. So well written answer. Herbicide formulation could be another factor, and again appropriately concluded. Now let's move to the next question. The next question was, discuss the impacts of El Nino on Indian agriculture. So you all know what El Nino is. That is the warmer phase of snow cycle. That is in Eastern Pacific Ocean of the coast of Peru. We all know it, and I have discussed this in geography classes, geography videos which I made. I think I have discussed there also El Nino, and many times I have discussed in agriculture classes also about El Nino. In answer writing practices, I have also discussed. So if you have a certain kind of problem of conceptual clarity, you can refer those videos to understand El Nino better. So now, what are its impact on agriculture, Indian agriculture? First of all, due to El Nino, there is delay in monsoon, and if there is delay in a monsoon, obviously there will be lower crop production. The areas which are rain-fed or which are dependent on monsoon has to face certain kind of problems such as drought. There are increased cost because we need increased irrigation things. We need there is are economic losses. So these all lead to increased cost. It impacts on rural livelihoods. There is depletion of water resources. Food security challenges are also there. So these are some of the problems of El Nino which can be seen in Indian scenario. So I hope you understand this. Now let's move to the next question. Enlist and discuss the types of soil erosion and water conservation options in Indian perspective. Okay, so you can see the student has mentioned the data here, that is 5.3 billion tons of soil are degraded annually, or India loses this much of soil annually. So, but whenever you are trying to add some certain kind of data, it is good that you are using data in introduction and other thing. Please try to write source. If you remember the source, please try to write it, because it will just enhance the effectiveness of your data and you will fetch good marks. Now, what are the types of soil erosion? So, these are the types of water erosion. Because soil erosion is also classified into various factors, that is water erosion, wind erosion. So these are the types of water erosion. Those are seat erosion, tree erosion, gully erosion. Actually, those are splash. The initial one is splash, then there is seat, then there is gully, then gully turns into, sorry, after seat there is reel erosion. Reel, then there is gully erosion, and then this gully turns into ravines. For example, jumble ravines. So this is the increasing increase in erosion from top to bottom. The lowest erosion will be seen in splash erosion, the highest will be seen in gully and ravines. So these are the types of water erosion. Now there are certain types of wind erosion also, such as surface creep, saltation, suspension. These are the types of wind erosion. Although student could have written it more clearer and it could have been discussed in a line, but okay, it's okay, because it is difficult to manage time, difficult to write all the things in the answer. But yes, it is good. It is good. The answer has been still it has been highlighted here. Landslide and mass movements could be another erosion. Now, what are the water conservation management in India? First of all, we can do counter flowing and terracing. We can develop check dams and percolation tanks. We can do agroforestry. We can do mulching. We can do rainwater harvesting. We can use vegetative barriers and grass strips. All these things can be used as water conservation method. We can do reforestation and afforestation. So there is a certain difference between reforestation and afforestation. If you don't know, I must explain it here. That in reforestation, we are planting trees on that areas which had trees previously. Suppose there is an area, it has trees, but due to some reason these trees were cut or felled down. So what happens in deforestation? We are growing trees in this area, but in afforestation we are growing trees in that area which doesn't has trees in near future. Suppose it was a barren area for some time in near future now, and you are growing trees on these areas. So this will be afforestation and this will be reforestation. So this is a slight difference you should know. Case studies have been also mentioned. So well written answer. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, discuss the different methods of water harvesting in India. Write about government initiatives promoting water harvesting. So what are the methods of water harvesting? Those methods are rainwater harvesting, urban rainwater harvesting and rural rainwater harvesting. Okay, next we have check dams. You can pause and read it. I am going a bit fast because there are a lot of questions to be covered, so you can pause and read the videos. I read the answers. Sorry. There could be percolation tanks, step wells, and bollies can be made. Counter bunding and terracing can be done. Farm ponds can be developed. Now, what are the government initiatives? Some of the important government initiatives are Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Atal Bhujal Yojana, Mahatma Gandhi, that is Manrega. Through Manrega, we are also creating structures such as check dams. We are building farm ponds. There is another scheme such as National Water Mission, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. So these are some of the important schemes which are focusing on water conservation. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, write a note on physical, chemical, and biological weathering of rocks and minerals. So physical weathering, its processes such as freeze and thaw, thermal expansion, abrasion, all have been mentioned. Examples have been also mentioned. Now, after that, chemical weathering have been mentioned. Its processes such as hydrolysis, oxidation, carbonation, all of these are the process of chemical weathering have been also mentioned. And again, biological weathering have been also mentioned. And its processes could be root expansion, lichen and moss, burrowing animals. So these are some of the very good written points. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, that is from the compulsory question number 5, and from here the section B starts. So student has written 3 questions from section A and 2 from section B, in which 5 was compulsory and 1 more student would have written. So next question is, define water use efficiency and water productivity. List crops having high and low water use efficiency. So we all know what water use efficiency and productivity is. Water use efficiency refers to the ratio of biomass produced to the amount of water used in the crop production, often expressed in kg of biomass. Suppose water use efficiency is the amount of water we are adding through irrigation, and the amount of biomass we are producing with the help of this water is the water use efficiency. And water productivity is the, it quantifies the yield obtained per unit of water consumed expressed as per kg crop produced. So here it, in water use efficiency you see about biomass produced, and in water productivity it depends on how much yield have been produced in how much of water irrigated or how much of water used. So these are the difference between, slight difference between water use efficiency and water productivity. Now, what are the crops with low water use efficiency? These crops are rice, sugarcane, potato, tomatoes, alfalfa, and the crops with high water use efficiency. Obviously, those crops which can grow nicely in low waters, such as cactus, koina, sorghum, millet, barley. These are the crops with high water use efficiency. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, discuss in detail the drainage methods in waterlogged soil. So what are these drainage methods? These are there are surface drainage methods, okay, such as open drains, graded channel, contour farming. There are subsurface drainage methods also, such as till drainage, French drain, drainage wells. So these are the methods of drainage. We have controlled drainage also, such as gate control drain, regulated tile drain. We have vertical drainage, such as using of pumping system, vertical drainage. After vertical drainage, we can use soil amendments such as organic matter, gypsum. So these are well written points. I hope you understand these. The next question is, Indian farmers usually choose crop and varieties based on their socio-economic aspects. Critically comment. So Indian farmers generally choose crops and varieties based on socio-economic aspects such as what is the market demand, what cultural practices are they are going to adopt, what is the resource availability for them, risk management, government policies on the floor, access to technology. So all these are the factors which has impact on preference of a certain crops or choosing a certain crop. Let's move to the next question. The next question is, what is farm planning, and explain the techniques of farm planning. So the farm planning is the process of organizing and managing resources to achieve optimal profitability and sustainability. We have to plan our farms such that we gain high yield and we gain high profits. What are the techniques of farm planning? So first of all, we have to do land use planning, we have to do crop planning, in which we have to plan such as crop rotations, crop which crop we are going to grow, which when to harvest. These all comes into crop planning. We have to plan irrigation, we have to plan all the labor we are going to use in the farm, we have to plan the capital we are going to use in which things, we have to plan the risks and how to manage those risks. Financial planning could be done, and I think this capital and financial planning are kind of similar points, so you can use them together. And well written answer, well written points. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, explain the advantages and limitations of integrated nutrient management. So what is integrated nutrient management? Using of different types of components such as chemical, cultural, biological for nutrient management is known as integrated nutrient management. What are its advantages? Such as it can lead to soil fertility. So in integrated nutrient management, we can use chemical fertilizers, you can use organic manure, we can use farmyard manure, we can use green manure. So all these things are integrated to get great results. So what are its advantages? Soil fertility, sustainable crop practices, environmental pollution is reduced, cost effectivities, it leads to improved crop quantity, and overall the soil quality is also improved. What are its limitations? It is generally labor intensive. Okay, variable nutrient content in various types of amendments were adding, so it can lead to some kind of problem. It leads to long term benefits and over quicker results. Okay, so suppose we are using some green methods, it will take some time to show results. And availability of organic inputs are also cloud. For example, biofertilizers and other things are not available in rural areas. Okay, technical knowledge is needed. So, well written points. Now let's move to the next question and the last question which the student has mentioned. The first question was, discuss in detail the role of ICR in Indian agriculture. So we all know what ICR is, that is Indian Council of Agriculture Research, that is apex body of agriculture education and research in our country. It was established in 1929. So what is the role of ICR in Indian agriculture? It leads to research and development, it leads to crop improvement, horticultural improvement, development of developing horticultural varieties. It has a role in livestock and fisheries. It provides extension services. It provides education services to farmers. It is helpful in policy support and planning, such as such. It was very much helpful in policies such as national agriculture policy, doubling farmers' income policy. It focuses on climate resilient agriculture. It has certain impact on food security. So all these are very well written points. It promotes the sustainable agriculture and organic agriculture. It has international collaborations with such as CGIAR, FAO. So well written points. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, discuss the package of practices of sugarcane crop. So what is sugarcane crop? So first of all, we will select certain kind of varieties, such as the varieties which are climate suitability, such as CO0238, CO8603, CO0118. So these are some of the varieties, and we will select the varieties as per the climatic conditions and our local conditions. For land preparation, we will do tillage, we will do leveling. Time of planting should be February to March or September to October as per region. You are growing in North India or South India. Seed rate varies for 5 to seed rate has, we have to follow certain kind of seed rate, or if you are using sets, we have to follow certain kind of healthy sets. Method could be trench or ridge, or furrows method could be used. We have to manage nutrient, that is fertilizers, we can use organic manure. Irrigation should be properly scheduled, water management should be proper, and you can read these points by pausing the video. For weed control, we can use mechanical methods, we can use chemical herbicides such as atrazine or metribuzin. For pest control, we can use certain kinds of chemicals, biological agents. We have to also manage the diseases. Harvesting times is generally after maturity, that is after 10 to 12 months of planting. Okay, we can use mechanical harvesters, manual cutting is also done. Post harvest management should be taken care of, such as transport, residue management, ratoon management, and this is very important for sugar cane. Okay, so here we manage the regrowth from the stubble of the previous crop with proper fertilization and irrigation for sustained productivity. Because we have, if you are growing from sets, we have cut the plant, so another either the new plant will grow from these sets, so we have to manage them properly. So very well written answer. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, discuss the importance of agriculture trade in national economy. So what could be the importance of agriculture trade? It will lead to the contribution in GDP. It will increase our GDP if the trade is good. It will lead to employment generation. It will lead to rural development. It will lead to food security, technological infrastructure development, diversification of agriculture. So all these things, it will lead to income security. So very well written answer, and we have discussed all the points. And I think at various intervals you have paused the video and read the answers, because I was a bit fast today because we have to cover a lot of questions. So that is all for today. Please do like, please press the like button, please do share, and please do subscribe. It takes a lot of hard work to make such videos for you on regular basis. रेगुलर बेसिस पे ऐसे वीडियोस को बनाने के लिए काफी हार्ड वर्क लगता है. एंड इफ यू लाइक, इफ यू शेयर, इफ यू सब्सक्राइब, it motivates us to make more such videos for you regularly. So that is all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you.